Today we're making chocolate chip cookies. The ingredients that you'll need for today is butter, sugar, brown sugar. Brown sugar needs a lid because it can get stale quickly, vanilla, eggs, salt, baking soda, flour, and the key ingredient is our chocolate chips. So before we start making our chocolate chip cookies, the first thing we need to do is we need to read the recipe. And our recipe starts out by saying that first of all, we need to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. So we're going to do that first. After we preheat our oven, it says that we need to beat our butter, sugar, brown sugar, and vanilla until creamy, and then it has a period after that. So period tells us to stop. The ingredients that we need to put into the bowl first are butter, sugar, brown sugar, and vanilla. Okay, so it says that we need 1 cup of butter. On the butter, it has this nice bar graph, tells us where to cut. So for 1 stick of butter, it says it's a ½ cup. The recipe calls for 1, which equals 2 sticks. So we need to open up and put our 2 sticks in. We want our butter to be room temperature, and the way that we know our butter is room temperature is by just giving it a little pinch here. And you see the slight indent, it's room temperature. If you don't have room temperature butter, another thing you can do is to cut up your butter and then put it into the bowl. Room temperature butter is very important when you're creaming the butter and the sugar together, as we're going to do, and I'll explain that, why that's important to you as well. Okay, is we're going to measure out 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Now there are 2 ways to get to 3/4 of a cup. So you have a ½ cup and a 1/4 cup, which are both found on the handles. Or you can use 3 1/4 cups. So if you don't have a ½ cup or whatever, you can use one or the other. So we need 3/4 of a cup of sugar. It's going to come in. Use the ½ cup here and the 1/4 cup. Okay, starts to look like that. And now we have our brown sugar. Now brown sugar can have the appearance and texture of like a kinetic sand, so you can push it in. You don't have to continue to push it in because you could probably get a lot in there. So you can firmly pack it in, but not. Okay, you have your ½ cup, and you have your 1/4 cup right in here, for those of you. Once you're done with the brown sugar though, you have to remember to put the lid back on because it gets stale very quickly. Okay, and next thing you know, you need your vanilla. So again, it's the teaspoon, it's the lowercase t. There are 3 teaspoons and a tablespoon, so make sure you find the smaller, the lowercase one. And now we're going to bring this over to the kitchen. You have 2 notches here that fit nice and easy on the bowl. I'm going to bring these in here, and it's not all the way in. This machine is not set up until you hear the click. And then this is a paddle attachment here. That's what we're using. And there's a right here. You're going to line them up, twist up and down. Now, what if I don't have one of these? You don't need one of these to make chocolate chip cookies. You can use a wooden spoon, and you can also use a handheld mixer. It doesn't matter. You can still make chocolate chip cookies at home without a KitchenAid mixer. People are, when I said to you before about making sure that the cookies are light and fluffy, why is that important? Why do we have to cream the butter and the sugar together? Well, beating creates air bubbles in the fat, and when you're heating the air bubbles, the butter expands and lightens the cookie, and that's what we're trying to do. You can do that with a handheld mixer. You can do that with a wooden spoon. It doesn't matter. So when you're doing that with the handheld mixer, when you're doing that with the wooden spoon, what you're looking for is to make sure that the mixture lightens. So in school, or if we were in school, we'd be looking to say, does it look like wet beach sand? Does it look fluffier than what it does? Does the mixture look lighter than what it normally does? Okay, so I'm going to turn this machine on. You can start to see what I'm talking about. This is called the creaming mixing method, okay? So you gotta bring it up. Okay. You want to incorporate air into the butter and the sugar. That's important to make it rise when it's in the oven. That nice, light, fluffy cookie. Next on our recipe, we have 2 eggs. So we need to put 2 eggs into the chocolate chip cookie. So you're going to crack your eggs on the side. We're cracking them into a separate bowl just so that we don't get shells into here. Pull on the side, 2 thumbs in the middle, pull it apart. We want to be very careful cracking eggs. We don't want to make a mess with our eggs. Okay. When we're done cracking eggs, we should try to wash our hands. Okay, so we're going to turn it back on. We're going to drop our eggs in. Set that mixing. Okay, so now I'm going to measure out 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 2 1/4 cups of flour. So I'm going to get my baking soda. Again, I'm going to measure out 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Baking soda is the chemical leavener that's going to make this chocolate chip cookie rise. And then a lot of people think it's a little weird. Why are we putting salt into chocolate chip cookies? Well, salt makes the chocolate chip cookie taste good. Just like salt is the flavoring for everything. You know, we put a little bit of salt on our food. A little bit of salt in the chocolate chip cookie gives it a little bit of flavor. And then 2 1/4 cups of flour. So when we read the recipe, we have to measure out 2 full cups. 1 2nd cup, and then we need our 1/4 cup. It's important that we measure out all of the flour into the chocolate chip cookie because the baking soda is very strong, and if you don't have the weight of the flour, it's gonna, okay? So we're gonna go back to our KitchenAid and mix this all. Slowly, turn the KitchenAid on slow. Okay, so you have a lot of stuff on the sides. You want to scrape that down. It's important that you scrape down your sides too during the whole process. Make sure you get all those ingredients off of the sides and into the main part of the bowl. Okay. Now, last but not least, our friends the chocolate chip cookies go in. So we're going to cut the bag, not rip the bag. Cut the bag. Okay. Just a few turns. We don't want to break down the chocolate chips. And you're done. Now you're going to kind of break them off here. The paddle. Okay, so Clean up all your area, and then you're ready to take your chocolate chip cookie dough and make it into chocolate chip cookies for the oven. All right, so 2 spoons, like, small size spoons. You're going to take your dough, so we're not touching it with our hands, okay? And we're going to drop it onto a sheet tray. You take a cookie tray and you line it with aluminum foil, less cleaning. If you happen to have a baking mat like this, you can use this as well. They hold up in the oven about 450 degrees, so you can use this as well. It just depends what you would like to do. Again, so you're not touching things with your hands. Chocolate chip cookies take about between 9 and 11 minutes to bake. Okay? Don't eat raw cookie dough. Some eggs can contain salmonella, so it's best. It's recommended that you cook them for 350, 375 for about 9 to 11 minutes. They say it guarantees. Okay? So you'll keep doing this. Stay nearby the oven and continue to bake your chocolate chip cookies in the oven until all of your batter is gone. Okay? We're going to put this in. We're going to time it for about 9 to 11 minutes. We'll see the edges start to get brown around the edges, and the cookie itself should start to dry out along the top, and then we know it's done. You can also stick a toothpick in. If it comes out with a little bit of stuff on it, you know your chocolate chip cookie's done. If it comes out raw, you know that it's not done. Put it in for an extra 30 seconds to a minute. Okay, let's go put this in the oven. Okay, so now you would check your cookies with a toothpick and you see it's coming out clean. All right, so take them out. Put them to rest. Okay, and let them cool on the cookie sheet tray for just a couple. Okay, so now using a spatula, you're going to take them off. Make nice serving platter. Let them cool. So look nice to serve. Okay, you can reuse this so you don't have to keep getting a new aluminum foil, cut piece of aluminum foil. And here you have a finished product, the chocolate chip cookies that you made on your own, something that you can share with your friends and your family and enjoy it.